Mm. No, it's been resisting change. Just noticing it, seeing it around, observing it in some situations. Actually, it's just what I decided to create as I came into the last 15 minutes before this. And it was resisting change appears to be the dominant strategy. Just why? I think it comes from the command and control. But it's it's the way we always have done it. Two is that it's known, it's proven, therefore we reduce the risk, eliminate the creativity, which then leads into rules, processes, and procedures that wiped out any creativity there. What's driving that? Fear of messing up, fear of making a mistake, fear of stepping outside of these boundaries. And so if our organizations aren't driven by fear, they're not, what would they be driven by? Say be driven by 3 Gs.
Hello.
Hi, Annette. How are you?
Fine. How are you doing?
I'm great.
Oh,
Yeah.
what's up on your side of the continent?
Just enjoying the sun today. Relaxing.
Yes. Very good.
Recharging.
The sun helps with that, doesn't it?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
So
that's what I'm doing today. How about you?
I was quite busy this morning, just trying to get stuff done and meet up with other people's time requirements throughout the morning. And now everything's done, and it's just like, oh, just to sit down with a mug of tea is really nice to do. And all that, but yeah, time to reflect and think and recharge, I guess, is the thing to do. So what is your word for the day, Jesse?
Silence.
Oh God, that sounds so nice. Hmm. I've got an aquarium running behind me. And nice just hearing the water run. Probably, I know I need to add water to the tank because it's a little louder than normal. Yes,
Always something to do in the silence.
I know. It's just to separate out and not think of your to-do list when you want to be silent. All too often we take a break and then we create our to-do list and then we jump up and continue on. But
Yeah, that's great. I've been sitting in that, and it's like, what are we doing in our silences? And some examples I can see this week is like, oh, I want to do this in a group. And it's like, well, do that. What are you doing in your silence? It's like for me, it's like the silence is where I am creating, where I'm seeing my resistance, where I'm in that, and it's like sharing it with the field is what I do in my silence.
I sometimes play things over like a movie.
I do that too. We can do all sorts of things.
Yeah.
And so playing it over like a movie.
That way you can kind of relive it all over again. The good
Mhm,
stuff, of course. Why would you want to relive the bad stuff? They come
mhm.
up as it is. If you choose to let it come up, and sometimes it's just the trigger or the tension. Yeah. Oh, man. My son making his entrance and his exit in the back. He's home this afternoon.
That's good. Yeah, it is.
Mhm.
It's like it comes down to like why we resist change as aspects of it. Yeah, we want to hold on to the way that it is, like how I wanted to hold on to how it was last week.
Mhm. It's almost like we're waiting for things to be perfect or certain aspects to be perfect.
Yeah.
And yet the perfect moment is now, and we just don't realize it. We don't even like to say it. I say it and I feel a resistance in me when I say that.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It's like what's driving that? What is it like? And the only thing that I can like get to the source of is just a fear.
Fear. I think you nailed that one on the unknown, the fear. Yes. It's not fright fear. It's just a different type of fear. But for some, it's very paralyzing.
Yeah, uniquely different for each in each situation, but it's like fundamentally it is really the same fear over and over and over.
And how do we stop that?
Yeah.
It's so easy to say you choose to stop it. But how do we choose it, but how do we actually make it work? You do, well, it's a little bit at a time, obviously. Hello.
Hey, Nettie. Hey, Jesse. I have till about 3:30 and I have to jump off, so I didn't want to interrupt you, but I'm giving you my parameters.
Mhm. I've got about the same time frame.
Me too. Welcome, Ginny.
Thank you.
It's kind of here's the topic. It's like a creator's check-in. It's the middle of the day, quick moment. We just checking in, and it was like as knew I set it up. I knew getting ready for it. It was like, oh, last 15 minutes was like, here it is. So it's like a resisting change. We working through. It's like a command and control, a dominant strategy. It's our automatic in the background. We're unaware of. And it's like, what is driving it? What is driving our resistance to change? And I'm seeing this in an organization, right? In a way that a client has said, I think we're really slow and I think it hurts us. And I'm a living case example of it. And so it's like, what is holding that back? Why is it resisting change? Why is it that we have to?
Maybe it's some of the stereotypical comments like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
That's right. This is my process. I developed it. I own it. I'm responsible for it. It's always been done this way, right? And I know it's like if you did what everyone else did, you were safe.
Because you fit in.
That's right. It was if you took a risk, if you stepped out to create something new, you really weren't rewarded if it worked, and you were definitely reprimanded if it didn't.
Yes,
So
shunned even.
what's the point?
Mhm.
What I'm hearing is the self-sabotaging things. But the opposite of if it ain't broke, don't fix it is if you always do what you always did, you'll always get what you always got.
Mm.
Yes. So you can't expect any more than what you've always gotten then. You keep hitting your head against the wall and it hurts. It's going to continue to hurt as long as you hit your head on the wall.
That would be frustration.
Mhm.
Would you be seeing that like in career and work and family and life? It's like, yes, we would see frustration. That would be part of the feedback loop of that.
For me, fear of change, as you know, a little bit of my history, was the unknown, the instantaneous unknown. And it's very body encompassing, in all aspects, mind, heart, soul. And for me, because I feel like I lost absolutely everything, I don't have that fear in moving forward other than of the unknown. How to work ahead. I know what I don't want. And so my fear is that I slip into the things that I don't want. Like, I don't want to be working at a McDonald's for the rest of my life. I don't want to be at a donut shop for the rest of my life or at a checkout of a grocery store. That I don't want. But my fear is that I end up doing that because of the sudden change of what's happened before. When you think you are very comfortable and know what your future is about, and then there's a sudden change. And I don't trust. That's a big thing right now, is trust. Don't trust the process enough to rely on it. Because for me, what I choose and what I really want can be taken away by somebody else in the blink of an eye.
Thank you. Hi, Craig. Welcome.
Hey, where are we?
Resisting change is a dominant strategy. It's like
Yes.
see it meaning it like it's a, it's the majority. It's the way society's, I say, has been built on, kind of the command and control mentality that runs really deep, through the business world,
Yeah, it's
driven
become a
by
default.
fears. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm just kind of speculating, like, oh, what's driving that? Like, what's behind it? Why is it? And just to show bring some awareness to, if it's that, then what else could it be? And Annette was just sharing how she looks at what I don't want as a criteria, as a boundary. And it's, yes, not focusing on it, but saying, not that. That's not what I choose. And I wonder why our choices are, I choose this new amazing experience, or I have to go way back here to the worst situation ever.
Fear.
Something that's, I'm sorry, go ahead, Matt.
It was just fear. I just had one word answer. Just fear.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I got that too.
So fear, in my humble opinion, is based on something that hasn't happened yet. Would that be accurate for the rest of you, or is that just my perception?
Yes and no, because it would also be based on the previous experience as well.
Thank you. And so the past is what we tend to go to extrapolate what might happen in the future. And we all do it. I do it. And I've been in your place. So I'm coming from that space where the rug got ripped out. And in that space, that's when all those egoic, I'm not good enough, I don't know what to do, all that confusion happens. But in that confusion is the humility. But with your new perspective, which I didn't have back then, you know you can create what you want, even if you base it on what you don't want. And that's where your power is. That's the learning I didn't have X years ago that you have. And so you can say, yeah, not that, but I do want that. I don't know how it's going to happen because that's part of the problem solving, but I do know I want that. And I'm going to hold the tension for that. That's what comes to me to share in my 15 minutes. I don't know if that helped, but that's what came to me.
I actually agree with you on that. I had an experience where there was something that I knew I wanted and I chose it. I chose, actually was a vehicle. I knew I would need to purchase a vehicle and I already chose the color, the year, the model, the amount of mileage and the price. And everything came together when I least expected it. And that vehicle is parked in my garage right now. When I least expected.
Awesome.
And the license plate is CWMV 248. CWMV, created with magnetic vision.
I love that.
It just came from the
That's
license
sweet.
office. It came from the license office. And then the 248 on the end, I'm going, okay, this is far too much of a coincidence. I'm just going to accept it. I'm going to love it. And this
Yeah,
is
no kidding.
awesome. Yeah, so that definitely, yes.
You want to embrace that sucker.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And like I said, it was when I least expected it. So, yeah.
Why didn't you go for a Ferrari?
Because I didn't have enough funds for that.
Thank you. See, you can see how we can easily come in and rip that apart around what you believe to be true, which it is. Yeah. But it's like, oh, well, why? And it's like, no, that wasn't like, that wouldn't have worked for you.
No, because I didn't want to be in debt for it.
No.
Like I needed something that works in the region that I live in.
Yeah,
That was
right.
affordable and yeah, but I'm not kidding. It was even right down to the mileage, just 1,000 off, 1,000 kilometers off. And so I couldn't, like I said, color, make, year, everything, price, all came through. And
Bingo.
that was
Would
process
you,
that took.
were you in your head or in your, like, where else were you? If you weren't in your head, where were you?
I was just in my whole body when I would do that. I would wake up at 3 o'clock in the
Ooh, there you
morning
go.
and I would sit up on the side of my bed. And sometimes I'd be meditating on this for more than half an hour because all of a sudden I was always in that in between awake and asleep, sitting on the edge of my bed. And all of a sudden I come awake and it's like 3:33 and it's like, okay, I'm going to lie down now. And as I always found it odd, it was these unique numbers, waking up at 3:03 or 3 o'clock and then till 3:33. I just took it, I did it, and I started back in June, and the car came home in December, just before Christmas. So
Wow.
yeah, when I least expected it, I found it.
Least, and that is so key. When I least expected it. Eureka.
Yeah, there was no timeline on it.
So Annette,
Do you
take that victory. What creation lessons do you share from that learning?
you're muted?
Sorry. The biggest thing for me was to be in a specific space. Like I said, I was between awake and asleep, that kind of, I'm still awake enough to be sitting, but asleep that I didn't realize I wasn't awake. And I don't know what they call that because I know there's alpha, beta, theta, or I have no idea what that's called. But it's a really cool place because time goes so fast and everything is so vivid. And it's just a conversation that you have with yourself as you are creating this. And it's it was pretty cool. I don't think if I set my alarm for 3 o'clock, I could have done the same thing. It was just spontaneous.
Yeah. That's how mine happen. You begin to listen for them, and oh yeah, there it is. Okay, pay attention. What does it mean? Yeah. And then I know there's certain places where I'll know. Like, okay, the shower is a big one for me, especially when I set the intention for it.
Did you say shower?
Yeah.
Anybody else but me?
Yeah, I get them in the shower too. Hey, do you realize, Annette, that that was the cosmic superconscious communicating with you?
No. What is the cosmic superconscious?
It's the great superconscious communicating with yours,
Oh, okay.
because it had created that already for you.
There's the odd thing that I find I'm out for a walk or something, and I just repeat a sentence or two, just out of the
Yep.
blue. And I say it, and then it's gone.
Mhm.
And there too, it just pops up. I say it, it's gone. Or I think it out loud.
Yeah. And for me, what's really miraculous for you is the detail that was there.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, the detail that was downloaded. I mean, it was, you know, you can say it came from elsewhere, but you know, it kind of comes from inside you. It comes from inside your heart too. I mean, that's the connection, the superconscious connection to all the superconscious that is, and it was very detailed for you.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and because of that, you focused on it, and it became real, became material.
Yeah.
You know, so you brought it into form, but it was a co-creation
Yeah.
between you and all that is.
And everything else, yes.
Yeah, yeah. And then it gave you a license plate to just kind of put the icing on the cake for you.
It did. I could
Yeah,
not
yeah,
believe it.
exactly.
I thought,
I mean, it's like, you know, we're meant to live like this. It's
Yeah.
pretty obvious to me.
yeah, because I haven't seen another one with the first four letters in town at all. So I don't know
Yeah.
where it just is.
Where that came from. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's been the 248 after that. It's like, okay, this, yeah. I'm not going to question that anymore. Just celebrate it because I think it's the coolest story that I have right now. So the fear, when I'd say about that story, there's none. There's no fear. It's just in other aspects, and it's because we haven't survived it. And if we have survived something similar, it was always some other factor involved in it that isn't included now. So it's just, yeah. This is like going back to school right now. It's a lot of work. And I keep saying I got one shot to do it and to do it well and do it right. And by golly, I'm doing it. So there again, it's just focusing on that. And I'm very relaxed when I'm at class. That's the biggest thing too.
Can I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
When you manifested that vehicle, was there any charge in that for you?
Charge as an excitement?
Could be.
It was like a conversation with myself. Okay, what is it that you want? Well, I know I need to have a vehicle at some point up ahead. Part of it was my son his vehicle was totaled on the 401. And so he didn't have a vehicle either. I knew I would need to have one either for him or because one fear I did have is that my husband would show up and just take the vehicle that was here. That was a fear that I did have. And I just needed to already start working on manifesting a vehicle specifically that I wanted, and I had time. So it was just asking, okay, so what kind of vehicle did you want? I answered. Okay, what year? I answered. What color? Okay. And what about kilometers? Price. And actually the kilometers was more so me adding it. It wasn't even a question asked. It was just me adding that to that conversation with myself. in that time, but it was easy after those things were laid down that whenever I would wake up between 3 and 3:30, I would just automatically sit on the end of my bed and just go through that conversation and just picture the vehicle in a very different way. It wasn't a picture as having a photo in front of you or a movie in front of you. It's just you can sense the vehicle.
Yeah. More conceptual.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
But, when I go out into my garage, there it is. And
Yeah, exactly. So how do you feel when you open your garage door and look at it? Do you get a charge then?
Yes, I do. I get a happy charge out of that because that is all me.
Yeah, isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this vehicle wasn't even on the market yet. It had just arrived in. I just showed up at the dealer for something else. The vehicle had arrived
exactly the right time, of course.
Wasn't even on the market yet. I just happened to ask a question and they said, well, there is something here. And then took me around to the back end of the building and I'm going, I can't believe it.
That's it.
I can't
You
believe
recognized it right away, didn't you?
Yeah. So that was
Interesting that the word you used. I can't believe it, but you believed it before you believed it.
Yeah.
That's really funny.
I couldn't believe that I was seeing the very thing that I had pictured that I chose to have. That I wanted.
Powerful.
Yeah, it was good. Now it's like, how did I make that work? Because I wanted to make it work for other things.
There you go. There's the lesson.
And
That's the creation lesson.
Yeah.
There's your
So the question Craig asked was about, what kind of happened during that time was very revealing for me as to what actually happened during that time. What mood was I in? How did I feel? Right. And what was I sensing? And that's when I realized I was I knew I was in that in between state. And because sometimes I would wake up and go, oh my God, I can't believe half an hour's gone by. It's like, okay, lie down. And then I just lay down.
What I heard you also say is there was no fear.
No, there's no fear in this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
I heard receiving. I
Receive.
didn't hear push.
No.
And then I heard embracing. That's what I heard. What did you feel and hear in your words?
Gratitude. Relax. Gratitude.
Allow.
Yes.
Focus, observe, relax,
Observe.
and trust.
Yes,
You were in your fortress.
I was.
Good framework for creating.
Yeah. This guy could blow my nose.
Well, that's a good ending point for me. Thank you. I'm complete. I have another call in a couple of minutes. Thank you. That was instructive and helpful.
Yeah, me too. Thank you. Thanks for sharing that with me. And so, anything else you'd like to share before we close here?
I'm good. It was just nice to meet up with everybody today for a few minutes. It was a nice break for me. Bit of grounding.
That's a powerful share, Nettie.
It is, isn't it? And I've been keeping it quiet for a while. But yeah, I brought it home. Actually, it was between when I broke my arm and surgery. I brought it home because I had got it, but I brought it home at that point. And anyways, yeah, it was pretty cool. Pretty cool. Thank
What
you,
a
everybody.
fabulous experience. So thank you for sharing that with us, Annette.
Yeah, it's a very foundational experience for you to relate yourself to when you're in those times where you're feeling not the fortress. So I will take that learning with me, and I thank you for sharing from your heart.
Yeah, very inspiring.
Yes.
You're very welcome. Have a great day, everybody.
Great.
Bye, everyone.
Bye all.
Big love. Big
Thank
love.
you, Jesse,
everybody.
for opening up the room.
Thanks, Jesse. Bye.
Great, loved it.
Yeah,
Bye
thanks,
all.
Jesse.